Welcome to the Three Martini Lunch. Grab a stool next to Greg Columbus of Radio America and Jim Garrity of National Review. Three Martinis coming up.
So glad to have you with us for the Wednesday edition of the Three Martini Lunch. And instead of good, bad, and crazy martinis today, as we've mentioned over the last few days, today is a special edition. It is our edition each year where we describe what we're politically thankful for. So Jim and I have each come up with three different things that we will explain. And in a year that's been politically frustrating, as most of them are, it's good to find the silver lining. So Jim, first of all, safe travels to you and your family as you head out of town for Thanksgiving. But what tops your list for the things you're politically thankful for?
Well, not this traffic that I'm currently in as people are listening to this, Greg, but no, actually, semi-seriously, I was thinking about the events of last week, and I was thinking about the spectacular turnout and the bipartisan consensus and the just overall strangely positive mood at the rally for Israel and against anti-Semitism held in the National Mall, estimated crowd of like 290,000 people. In addition to being this very feel-good event, one of the things I'm thankful for is that I think of myself as a independent conservative. Don't necessarily think of myself as a Republican. Depends on who the Republican is. Depends on who, what the Republican Party wants to stand for on any given day or a given week. But I think that generally the movement that we are a part of carries itself like that pro-Israel rally, in which there were no confrontations with cops. There was no violence. There was no chanting for the deaths of Palestinians or anything like that. When you look at the other side, in fact, you look at that protest that got violent outside the Democratic National Committee headquarters just like a day or two later, or a night or two later. You do have a lot of yahoos. You do have a lot of people who go there intending to pepper spray cops. You do have a lot of people who go there looking for a fight, looking for violence, looking for a chance to lash out at somebody. And, you know, if you were a supporter of the Palestinian people, I think you're embarrassed by that. I hope you're embarrassed by that. And I hope you look at that, you're like, that's not helping. That's making people think we're a bunch of nut jobs. That's making people think that we are kind of okay with Hamas, that we are okay, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I just think that, look, most days, there are plenty of exceptions. But, you know, you'll sign people like, January 6th, that shows that Republicans are violent yahoos. No. Republicans were not there at January 6th. The percentage of Republicans in this country who were at January 6th is exceptionally small. The percentage of self-described conservatives is even smaller. So I'm kind of proud that this movement, look, we have our yahoos, we have our idiots, we have our people who say and do stupid things. But by and large, when we get together, we pick up our trash. By and large, when we get together, we don't go looking for trouble. We actually understand the law. We actually understand the Constitution. We actually understand how we're supposed to behave. And I think how we're supposed to persuade other people. We've all seen plenty of protests, often from the left, environmentalists, zero emissions types who like lie down in traffic or refuse to let people get to work and stuff like that, throwing paint and glue and other stuff to works of art in art museums. Like every day, if you're on the other side of the ideological perspective, you like there's new idiots coming out doing new stupid things. And by and large, we don't have that problem, at least not every day. At least not all the time, and at least not on every issue. So I just kind of feel good about we're standing for the right things and we're doing it in the right way, Greg. And I think that's something to be thankful for in times like these.
No, I think the contrast that you mentioned is critical. Whenever they're in big numbers, it just devolves into chaos, whether it's Occupy Wall Street or the BLM riots after George Floyd, or what we're seeing now with the pro-Palestinian protests, where vandalism is happening right outside the White House gates and statues in Lafayette Square, and police are in confrontations. There was one anecdote saying at the pro-Israel rally, one officer, when somebody asked, how's your day going? He says, I've gotten a career's worth of thank yous in one day. And so you just see the difference. And so in addition to, speaking with a pretty unified, loud voice that Israel has a right to defend itself, we appreciate that they're a stable democracy in one of the most unstable parts of the world, giving Jewish Americans a chance to see that the silent majority is with them when they see night after night the crazy people saying all these hateful things and destroying property and so forth. So there was a lot of good that came out of that rally, and hopefully people remember exactly the contrast between the two, because it's about as stark as you can get. As far as me, I'm going to go a little bit closer to home. We talked about this at the end of last week. in terms of the better than we first thought in some ways elections in Virginia, even though the Democrats got what they wanted in terms of the legislature, sadly, and they're not going to give up the Senate now for at least 4 years, and who knows what will happen the next time the House is up. But it's very tight. And when Glenn Youngkin got elected 4 years ago, one of my colleagues said, welcome to a 4-year stretch of sanity, thinking that we basically got lucky. The school issue came up and Youngkin seized on it. McAuliffe stepped on a rake. And as a result, the whole Republican ticket got into office for 4 years. And so will this actually happen as we go forward, as Northern Virginia gets bluer and bluer and more population and so forth? It would seem to be trending against Republicans. But Glenn Youngkin has outstanding approval ratings, well over 50%. I think he's actually between 55 and 60%, which is why some people wanted him to run for president. I think he's smartly not doing that. I think we have a decent bench, because he can't run for re-election, but Winsome Sears has conducted herself well. I'm guessing the AG will probably try to stay where he is. And so even though the Democrats control the agenda now in Richmond, which is very regrettable, I'm very grateful for Glenn Youngkin being there. Not only did he accomplish a number of important things when he first took office, he's going to be what you like to call the goalie and vetoing a ton of bad stuff that now comes out of those narrowly divided chambers. So obviously, wish it would have been a lot better. 2 Republican-led chambers plus Glenn Youngkin would have been an awesome 2 years. But the fact that he's there to swat away the bad stuff, to make a reference to his preferred sport of basketball, makes me very grateful. I don't know what Virginia's going to look like in 2 years. So there's only so much damage Democrats can do, hopefully, in Virginia between now and then. So really glad to have Glenn Youngkin around. Okay, just a quick moment here to tell you about our fantastic sponsor for the day, and that is 4 Patriots. They make so many great products. We talk to you all the time about the Patriot Power Generator 2000X and how you never need gas, and it's better than other generators for keeping your critical devices powered. We also talked to you about the best-selling survival food kits, which last for 25 years. They got great ingredients like real meat and vegetables, and just helps you stay safe during a crisis. But that's not all they have. When you go over to their brand new website, 4patriots.com/martini, you can also find out fantastic deals on things like the Patriot Power Blender, the Leafy Green Hydro Garden and Floral Seeds kits, so to grow your own food, Aztec Chili with mango survival food kits, and also the Sun Kettle Solar Cooker. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a ton of stuff over there. I highly encourage you to check it out at 4patriots.com/martini. And while you're there, look and see this week's discounts and deals before they are gone. And you'll also get free shipping on orders over $97. Save more and get peace of mind now by going to the number 4patriots.com/martini. That's 4patriots.com/martini. All right, Jim, on to the second thing you're most politically thankful for here in 2023.
People might kind of tie this into a knot or argue this isn't necessarily political, but I think it does reflect something about how we live our lives, and I think that inevitably ends up affecting our politics. It's Thanksgiving, or at least I am. As you're listening to this, I'm driving on Interstate 95. You're probably in front of me listening to this podcast. And that person behind you yelling to you to get out of the left lane, that's probably me. I'm going to spend time with family. I think everyone who has a general sense of my age knows that my folks are getting older. My in-laws are getting older. As I get older, I try to have a greater appreciation for having these people in my life. And, unfortunately, you live in a world where people can pass away or fade very quickly. I know a couple people in the just work colleagues and people from the professional world who have dropped dead suddenly in the past year. Well, that's not necessarily family. There's kind of this recognition of we should all try to appreciate each other more while we're here. You do not know for whom the bell tolls and when that bell is going to toll. And I just have the recognition. You hear all these stories right around this time of year. We inevitably get the, how to explain to your dumb Republican uncle that Osama bin Laden had a lot of good points, or all the other kind of crazy Vox articles, where the idea that somehow, one, your purpose on this earth is to proselytize to your relatives about how wrong they are politically. And or some version of, like, you go on social media and you say, my sister-in-law didn't vote for the presidential candidate I wanted. I can't even speak to her anymore, or something. I hear that. I'm genuinely sad. You get all kinds of different political viewpoints around our family Thanksgiving table. I love all the people in my family. I don't need them to politically agree with them to be very happy that they are in my life. And I hope everybody can kind of find something in this. And if you happen to be listening to this on your way to a Thanksgiving gathering and you're dreading these inevitable political arguments or these people who you have some very strong disagreements with, I would just say try to find something about them you can appreciate. Find something. Just tell them you're glad that they're here to argue about politics for another Thanksgiving. And give them a hug from me, and just be a little more appreciative, because they aren't guaranteed to be in your life forever. And I strongly suspect that no matter how strongly you disagree, no matter how much you might vehemently be angry about that thing they posted on Facebook or that thing they said 2 years ago or something like that, you're going to miss them when they're gone. And you have a blessing by having them here in your life. And you should not let something as minor as who you voted for or which party you preferred or which news channel you like to watch divide you, because you only get one family. And the ones that you get when they're good, they really are one of the blessings in life. So that would be just kind of my thought. Like, I'm thankful for my family, and I hope everyone else out there has a family, or at least just somebody in your family who you can feel thankful for year in and year out.
Yeah, I was going to close with this one, so I'm going to move it up to number 2 and basically agree with you here. And that is, when you have these opportunities to pause, whether it's a vacation or it's a holiday, you get to kind of take stock. You're not just chasing the calendar throughout the week as we get so in the habit of doing. And so then you tend to appreciate what you have more and more. And that's obviously the point of Thanksgiving, right? So, appreciate your family members who are there. And when you're with them, appreciate the ones that you have shared memories with who might not still be there. Your close friends who have been with you through thick and thin, whatever those issues may have been over the many years, or maybe you've only known them a short time, but they've proven to be strong friends. And could be being grateful for a job and the work colleagues that you can appreciate. Us here at the Three Martini Lunch, we love working together. I love working with the people I collaborate with at Radio America. It's a great blessing. And so, and you give that thanks, and then where do you give that thanks? And of course, it's God who has blessed us, put us in these situations, blessed us with the opportunity to be part of these great families, have these friends, have potentially the education that we have, or to have the employment that we have. And, depending on your faith, you have specific things that you're thankful for there. As a Christian, I'm most thankful, of course, for the sacrifice of Jesus Christ and dying for our sins and having new life. So it's a time where you can kind of step away. Yes, these cultural issues, they're very important. We need to engage because we want a better life for our kids and the generations that follow. But being able to find the things, even in kind of an ugly political climate that we are very, very grateful for, is a good thing to do. And keeping that mindset throughout the year will probably help our blood pressure a little bit too.
Hey, everyone. This is Sarah Carter from The Sarah Carter Show. Thanks so much for listening to Three Martini Lunch. We could all benefit from heart healthy energy, and one of the best ways to do that is by supporting your blood pressure and circulation. Super Beets Heart Chews are an easy and convenient way to support healthy blood pressure paired with a healthy lifestyle. The antioxidants in Super Beets are clinically shown to be nearly 2 times more effective at promoting normal blood pressure than a healthy lifestyle alone. Folks, I take my Super Beets with me everywhere. They are delicious. They come in like little squares in foil, and you just put them in your pocket. You can take them with you anywhere and everywhere. You take them out, take them in the morning, and you feel great all day long. If I'm in New York, if I'm in Florida, if I'm in Chicago, if I'm in LA, I've got my Super Beets with me. They're plant-based and stimulant-free, so you get a productive, heart-healthy green boost without the jitters. Double your potential with Super Beets Heart Chews. Get a free 30-day supply of Super Beets Heart Chews and a free full-sized bag, listen to this, of turmeric chews valued at $25 by going to americalovesbeets.com. Can't beat that. Get this exclusive offer only at americalovesbeets.com. That's americalovesbeets.com.
All right, Jim, everyone's waited. The third and final thing you're thankful for in 2023.
Greg, I noticed we both kind of went more personal with this. I think it's appropriate for the holiday. It also might say something about our current political scene. But the last thing I have written down here on this list is I'm thankful for our ability to laugh. Earlier in the year, actually, before I did my trip to Ukraine, I watched David Letterman, a former late night host, took a trip to Ukraine, did an interview with Zelensky, and they talked about can you laugh when you're in very difficult circumstances, like Ukraine attempting to withstand the Russian invasion and drive the Russians out? And Zelensky said, yes, absolutely. You have to. You have to find joy where you can find it. And there are ridiculous things that happen even when you're at war, and that makes them laugh. And it's just this lifting of the spirit, this very temporary, but you just kind of, you stop worrying about whatever is front and center in your mind, and you can laugh at the absurdity of something. And people have asked, people who don't listen to the Three Martini Lunch podcast ask, so what do you guys do? I'm like, well, we do 3 topics of the news a day. We try to get through them. It's about 20 some minutes long, but we also really try to have a laugh during it. And whether it's, just the absurdity of the news is often very depressing, but, you and I and a whole bunch of, I think, very sharp, funny writers and other people on social media, bloggers, commentators, we can find something that can make us laugh about the circumstances we're in, even when it's very frustrating, very depressing, or even angering or enraging, that we can find something to illuminate the ridiculousness of what it means to be an American here in the year 2023. So I want to thank you, Greg, for all the laughs we've had on this podcast. I want to thank the listeners for being and hopefully laughing along with us when we're deliberately funny. There are probably lots of times they've laughed. We weren't trying to be funny and we've done something ridiculous. But I think that there's I think we have a good podcast and I think we do it well, but I also think that we try to give people a little slice of sanity, a little slice of something where we know this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. We're all just trying to get through our lives here and we're probably going to be okay. And that's, I think, a message a lot of people tell me that they like hearing and that they need to hear. And if we can play that role in your lives, well, then I'm thankful for that too.
Definitely. Well, definitely thankful for you, Jim. 13 years and beyond now on the Three Martini Lunch. Obviously grateful for all of our listeners who keep coming and keep growing, which we're very, very thankful for. So keep telling your friends about us. It's working. I'm going to go a little more political in my final one, but I think it kind of goes into what you were talking about a little bit. And anytime government's doing something right, it's either preserving liberty or giving liberty most of the time, in constitutional context. And so one of the things that I'm grateful for, and, we'll see how the results shake out here in due time, but one of the big stories we've had this year is school choice in a lot of different places where parents now have much more flexibility in where they send their children to school. And in some cases, having their own money, their tax dollars that would have gone to the public schools to pay for that child's education in whatever educational format they want, whether it's private school, religious school, a different public school, or homeschooling, even in some cases. And so having that flexibility for parents to make sure their kids are getting the best education possible. By doing so, they are learning our founding principles. They're learning what makes this country special in the history of the world. And by doing that, it helps to understand, I would say, the conservative perspective that we're coming from on a lot of these issues. It's all rooted in a great appreciation for our founding and the importance of having the liberty that is now being extended in greater ways in some of these states. So again, we are extraordinarily grateful for you listening to the Three Martini Lunch podcast. And Jim, have a great time with your family. I certainly plan to have a great time with mine. And we will not have a Three Martini Lunch episode tomorrow on Thanksgiving Day. We will be back on Friday with another special edition. This one will hopefully bring a lot of laughs, and that is our Black Friday special, the gifts we would give to political figures as we head into the holidays here in 2023. So, Jim, happy Thanksgiving to you, and I'll talk to you soon.
That is always one of our most fun episodes of the year, and I'm already thinking about who really needs a gift this year, who really deserves one, and what to get them.
Yes. Yeah. So make sure you tune in on Friday for that. But enjoy your time with your family, most of all, and be thankful. He's Jim Garrity of National Review. I'm Greg Corombos of Radio America. Really appreciate you listening today. Do travel safely if you are going to travel. And in the meantime, subscribe to the podcast. Tell some friends about us. Give us a 5-star rating. We would really appreciate that. Plus some kind reviews. Get us on your home devices. All you have to say is play Three Martini Lunch podcast. Follow us on X. He's at Jim Garrity. I'm at Dateline_DC. One more time, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your day. We'll see you on Friday on the next Three Martini Lunch.